Baytown, Texas, all in one video. That way, if you're thinking about moving to a Houston suburb and specifically the Baytown, Texas area, today's video is the only one that you'll need. We'll be going over a full map tour along with touring every single new community in the area, doing home tours of homes in the medium home price, and of course the pros and cons. That way, by the time you're done with this video, you'll have an understanding of the community that probably most Baytonians don't even have themselves. I'm Giovanni Frank, your local Houston realtor with Lionsgate Realty. And if you have any questions over this community or any other community in the Houston area, feel free to reach out to me. I put my personal information down in the description below. All right, let's get to it. Jumping right into the map here, we can see that this little red area, about 25 minutes east of downtown Houston, is Baytown, Texas. You're also about 20 minutes from Pasadena, 45 minutes from Furland, about 45 minutes to an hour from Cypress, Spring, and Katy. And if you want to go to the beach out here, which we have gorgeous water out here in the Galveston area, you are about 45 minutes to an hour away from Galveston. So that's pretty much our map here and where we're located. Let's jump right into how Baytown is broken up. Baytown is broken up into a few sections. Let's take a look at the first one here, which is in between 146 and 99. So this is where you're going to have a lot of the small town vibes still, right? You have your historic downtown here, also your arts district, a lot of local businesses, which are like taquerias, paleterias, fruterias, panaderias, you know, all of that there, your local family-owned Mexican restaurants, which is mainly what we have down here on this side of town. Also, you have some grocery stores here as well, and our community college, Lee College, and also some local dive bars are all going to be in this area. So if you want something that still gives you a small town vibe, this is pretty much where you would want to start looking for a home here. Our next area is what really makes Baytown a blue-collar town, and you heard me talk about Baytown in this manner a few times, and this is really why. So everything behind 330, you have two livable areas here, and right in the middle of those two areas is its own little city, which is ExxonMobil refinery. And this is why everybody moves to Baytown to come work in the refinery areas, and hopefully they land a job here, so they're about 5 to 10 minutes from their house. So your first area that is divided by ExxonMobil plant, which you can see here, it takes up a big section of this area, right? So you've heard me talk about East Baytown, Baytown Heights. This area here, you can find homes under the 150 price range that are livable. You don't really have much here. You have the Baytown Cafe Taqueria. You also have El Sinaloense. Now, I will tell you right now, that is probably the best restaurant, seafood restaurant, almost anywhere in Houston. I'm not gonna lie. I might be biased because I know the owner, but just go there, try it out. Everybody who relocates to Baytown or the Houston area and I take them there, they fall in love with it, right? So that's that small area right there. Now, they do have an elementary there, which is San Jacinto Elementary. I went to that one. Let's move up to the other side of Exxon, on the other side of where the communities are, Lakewood Oaks. This area here has a lot of waterfront properties, homes that have their own access to Burnett Bay. So if you're looking for a waterfront style under about 600,000, this is where you would land, mainly here in Baytown. You have one restaurant here, which is El Toro, the Mexican restaurant, and you have Baytown Junior, which is your junior high. And you're not too far away from the center of Baytown where all of the commerce is, and that is our next area. The third section here is everything in between 330, 146, and I-10. This is where you're going to find most of your local commerce, your strip centers, your major grocery stores like Target, Kroger, and H-E-B. For entertainment, you have your AR's Entertainment Hub, which is like a big arcade. A lot of people go there. It's pretty fun. I think it's about $24 per person. You have Jenkins Park, and then during the summertime, you have Pirates Bay. Now, I'm not sure if this was a rumor or not, but somebody told me not too long ago that Drake, which is probably not even true, right? I'm just repeating it here, but that Drake rented out Pirates Bay for a whole day for himself and his crew, which in my mind, I'm like, why would you come to Baytown when you have all of Houston to play in? But who knows? Maybe he likes water parks, right? Anyways, that's a rumor here in Baytown that I've always heard about Pirates Bay. In this area too, you're going to have almost every single one of your new construction communities. So if you're looking for a new home, this is where you're going to find it more than likely. You have Goose Creek Landing, which is Baytown's favorite community. You also have Hunters Creek, Asheville Cove, Baytown Crossing, Sterling Point. In this area, you also have Baytown's newest high school, which is Goose Creek Memorial. And this area here is perfectly centralized to hit every single freeway that you could want leaving outside of Baytown here. So if you work outside of Baytown, this is still a quick, fast access to every freeway that you want: I-10, 146, 330, and even hitting 99. This fourth section here is one that most people forget about. I mean, even me, from time to time, I forget about it, but it's slowly starting to get developed. This area is mainly known for a few distribution centers, fishing, a trailer park that is out there, and gated communities, also communities with a lot of land, and it's all waterfront property mainly on this area here. But you are starting to get new construction, like I mentioned. I mean, we even have a Dunkin' Donuts now, and now that 99 runs straight through there, it's going to get a lot more development. They're even building a shopping center through there. What $300,000 gets you in Baytown, Texas? We're taking a look at 3 homes, 300, 350, and 390. And right now we're actually 4 minutes down the road from your first home, and we're enjoying a little Starbucks. Let's get to it. Our first home here is in Country Club Estates. It is at $303,000, 2,600 square foot for a 1-story. This offers plenty of natural lighting throughout the house, an open concept, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, a 3-car separate garage. This property is centrally located here in Baytown. We are about 5 minutes from your main road, which is Garth, where all of your shopping centers are, and we're about 10 minutes away from the Chamber side of town, which is our next home. Let's go check it out. Oh, hey, our next home here is in the Chamber side of Baytown. That means that you are offered a low tax rate of 1.7 right here. This home is actually going for $357,000. It is a brand new home. You have 4 bedrooms here, 2.5 bathrooms, 2,200 square foot on a nice sized lot. No back neighbors as of now. With this being a new home, the builder is contributing a total of $7,500 towards your closing costs and paying owner title policy. So all of your closing costs should be covered there. They're also offering a package for closing that includes your blinds, your stove, your microwave, and your fridge. Now we're on our way to check out your next home, which is about 5 minutes away from here. Let's go. Now we're technically not in Baytown anymore. We're in Mont Belvieu, which borders Baytown, and some people are calling it the new Baytown. This home right behind me is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home, 2,600 square foot, sitting on an 11,000 square foot lot. The tax rates that are offered here is a low 2.1 tax rate. It does offer high ceilings throughout. The asking price for this one is $390,000. Starting with the pros, on this side of town, home prices are still fairly low. You can find a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home for about $180 to $220, just depending on how modern you want it on the inside. And some of our neighborhoods here are still at a low 2% tax rate. So that's gonna lower your mortgage payment while allowing you to afford more home. And even if you're looking for a home with a little bit more land on it, I was able to find one of my Dallas clients a home sitting on 2 acres, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, waterfront with a pier for $315. Now I got 2 of their other family members looking out here to relocate simply because of how low our home prices are, even for waterfront property. Second, everything is close by. It doesn't matter if you're looking for a fast food restaurant, a grocery store, a supermarket, a corner store, it doesn't matter. They're all going to be within 5 or 10 minutes away. It's just the way the town is set up. So if you're a person who works really long hours and maybe one day you get home and you don't feel like cooking, you can go pick up something to eat and be right back home before your food gets cold. Third, Baytown has plenty of areas for outdoor activities. So it doesn't matter if you're looking for a dog park, walking trail, water park, place to go golfing, or a place to go fishing. My favorite place is to go on the walking trails because they're really more like nature trails. You're surrounded by really tall trees and a lot of greenery. 4, work is close by. So if you're a refinery worker, you have Exxon right in your backyard about 5 minutes away, and then you have other refineries like Valero about 10 or 15 minutes away. And if you work in the city, you're about 25 minutes away from the city. So your work will be close by, and that's something that people really appreciate. 5, Lee College. This is something that a lot of people don't take into consideration. If you're going to school for something in the refinery, this is a great place to network because either your classmates are already working in the refinery and something that you want to go to school school for, or the teachers, the professors there work in the refineries, and they're going to be some of the top dogs who are doing the recruiting. So a lot of people get recruited from Lee College straight into the refineries in the field that they're looking for, simply because of that reason. It's a great place to network, and if you're thinking about going to school for nursing, if I'm not mistaken and remember correctly, Lee College has some of the highest passing rates for nursing programs. Moving on to the cons. Anybody from Baytown will tell you from 3:45 to 6 p.m. avoid 3:30 and Garth Road, because the traffic sucks here at that time. You'll be stuck in traffic for about 30 minutes to an hour, just depending if there's an accident there or not, but the traffic is horrible there. Now, I do have two shortcuts for you guys, just in case you are new to this side of town. If you want to avoid the traffic on Garth, you can take San Jacinto Boulevard. It's a fairly newer road, and also Hunt Road, and that can help you cut all of the traffic out. You can take the back roads to get back onto Garth Road and avoid all of the main traffic. Now for 3:30, you can exit off at 3:30 and take the East Freeway Service Road and do a loop around, kind of like if you're going back towards Highlands, and then right there and jump right back onto the freeway, avoiding all of that traffic on 3:30. Second, everything closes early. For some reason, Baytown just shuts down like at 10 o'clock at night. All the restaurants, everything is closed. Maybe on the weekends, some are open until like 11. So if you're trying to make plans to eat late at night, forget about it in Baytown. Just go ahead, make some reservations out here in downtown. You're about 20-25 minutes. All the restaurants are open late out here. Third, Baytown is not walkable. If you're like me and drive for most of your day for work, since I'm a realtor, I have to drive around a lot. I prefer not to drive around whenever I'm off, when I'm not working, right? And Baytown just doesn't offer that. If you're going somewhere in Baytown, you better drive. If not, it's going to take you 20 minutes to walk there. So Baytown is not walkable. You better take your car everywhere you go. 4, the refineries. With the refineries literally being in your backyard, there are some downfalls to that. So they will have the flares going sometimes at night, and that makes the sky really, really bright at night. It makes like an orange haze. Also, whenever it rains, you get a really bad smell. Kind of smells like eggs. If you ask the refinery workers, they're going to tell you it smells like shmoney. And also that morning dew, it just eats the paint of your car. So there are some things that come on the downside if you have the refineries right in your backyard. So it's something for you to be aware of. Almost forgot, if you're from out of town, don't get freaked out. Wednesdays at 9 a.m., that's just a test alarm that the refineries do. So don't get freaked out thinking something's going to blow up. 5, and this is a personal grievance for me, there's just not enough coffee shops in Baytown. Period. There's one family-owned coffee shop, J&H, on Texas Avenue, right across from Lee College. That's the only one. The other ones are 2 Starbucks. Besides that, there really is nowhere else to go. And there's nothing like a family-owned coffee shop. It just gives you the best home vibes. And especially for people like me who want an office away from their office, Starbucks, I mean, it's okay, but it's still not family-owned, and you don't get the right vibes there. So that's the only other grievance that I have with Baytown, is that there's not enough coffee shops. That's why I spend most of my time out here in downtown. Let's start off with the reasons why some people want to move to this community. First of all, you have the mature pines. That kind of gives away the name of the neighborhood, right? Whispering Pines. Second thing that a lot of people want to move to this community for is it's very quiet, it's very low key, and you have style homes here that remind me of, what is that movie that people watch during Christmas? It is Home Alone. The style of homes where you can say kind of like, oh yeah, you know, my dad's a local dentist. That's the kind of people you think will live here. Like this one here, for example, right behind me, it is listed by Open Door and is going for $253,000. They did a price reduction of $74,000. This is just on another point, guys. If you know somebody who is selling their house, do not let them list with Open Door or iBuyers, simply because they will ruin your community price. So the values of your houses in your community, Open Doors and iBuyers will ruin them, because they bought up all of these houses on the market, and now they're trying to control the market and sell them, right? So they overlist, and now that they can't, they're dropping the house. This house was $250,000 to start with from the beginning. Okay, anyways, back to what we're talking about. So now that we have established why people want to move here, let's talk about why people don't. Well, you know what, let me go back to the price range. So you have homes here built from the late 70s all the way to the early 2000s. Your price range is roughly around $250,000 to $500,000 here. And you have a really good amount of square footage. Now, some of these that are on the lower end, you will have to remodel on the inside, but you have 3,500 square foot. I mean, that's great for $300,000. That's amazing, right? You do have to do some upgrades to the house, but that's cool.
Now, there are some cases where you will have houses that are $1 million. For example, I did tour one this week that was $900,000, almost 6,000 square foot. You can go watch that video on my channel here. Now, let's talk about one of the reasons why people don't like to live here. First is having to remodel a house, because a lot of these are outdated. It's people that lived here for some time now, so the houses are a little bit outdated. Second, and this is one that everybody gets freaked out about, and they always run their numbers before they even make an offer in this neighborhood, is flood insurance. During Hurricane Harvey, this area had a lot of flooding. I mean, a lot, right? So it's just something that you have to deal with. I do see, people still do move here. I help clients get houses here all the time, right? But that's just an extra cost that you have to keep in mind, something that you have to keep in mind down the road. There hasn't been that much major, I don't even think there has been flooding since Harvey here, okay? So that was just a once in a lifetime. You are backed up to Cedar Bayou. You have access to Cedar Bayou. So with that privilege does come the case that you might get flooding, right? Whenever there is a really, really bad hurricane. It's something that you have to prepare for. I always tell people, buy flood insurance, even if it is not required. We live in Texas during Hurricane Harvey. Whenever it flooded, there were certain neighborhoods that were not in a flood zone and flooded. There was neighborhoods that were in a flood zone and did not flood. So it's always good to have that on your books just in case something does happen. Okay, guys, this was Whispering Pines. We are moving to our next community. Now we are in the River Farms area, and this community is very unique in that we are in Baytown, but we're close enough to Cove that we're in the Chambers side of Baytown. So you have a few different styles of houses here. As you can see, you have a lot of farm style houses sitting on bigger lots. You have 3 builders here, but they're almost all completed with the homes that they have available here. So you have Kate, you have DR Horton, and you have, I am going blank here, K Havonian. They all have different price ranges. For new builds that are still available, for the ones that haven't been built out yet, you're looking about a price range of what is it, $380 to about $480, about $100,000 difference there. And for homes that are resale, they've already been owned and that are ready for the owners to move out, you're looking about a price range of $330,000 to $500,000. That's what I've seen. I've actually toured recently a few properties in that price range here. The different styles of homes that you have is all brick, all around. You have farm style houses. You even have houses here that have a separate car garage that's completely covered in brick, which is awesome, right? So another thing that really gets most of my clients to want to move to this community here, this is a farm style one here, farmhouse style. You'll see a little bit more as we go down that way. One thing that really pushes people towards this way is the tax rate. You're looking at 1.7 because remember, we are in Chambers County. So your tax rate is super low. Just 10 minutes into the city, closer into Baytown from here, you're looking at what? 3.9 at a new community that offers this same style model. I mean, come on, look at this. Beautiful houses here. Farm style. And what I like about this community too is that there's not all farm style houses, right? So here you have a more traditional one, and it makes that community look a lot better because it's not always all the same thing. So going back to why people are moving here, besides a 1.7 tax rate, you're also zoned, even though you're in Baytown, you're zoned to Barbers Hill ISD. For those of you who heard about that school, it's one of the best ones closer here to the Baytown area. So everybody wants to move over there, but most people completely forget about Baytown and they move directly into the Mont Belvieu area. Now your tax rate's a little bit higher. It's not much higher, but it still is higher, and you're paying a lot higher per square foot over there. Over there, you're starting for a small 1-story. You're starting at about, what is it? $450 is what you're starting at in Mont Belvieu. When you can be here in this little community, River Farms in Baytown, Chambers County, 1.7 tax rate, have the same builders, and you're paying less monthly. You're still zoned to Barbers Hill ISD. All right, guys, now we're going to go to the next community. All right, for those of you who recognize this little story here, you already have a clue of where we're at. So you local Baytonians know that this is East Baytown, better known as Old Baytown. And I actually grew up here in this area until I was about 2013 is when we moved out of here. But we're gonna go over why people like to live here and why people don't like to live here, price range, years of the house. Let's start off with what kind of homes you're going to find here. You're going to find a lot of either brick homes like this. These are gonna be the newer ones. And then you're gonna have a lot of homes on pier and beam that are, what do you call them, craftsman style homes. And your price range here, well, first of all, let's talk about the age. You're looking at homes that were built in the early 40s all the way up to about late 70s. And you're going to look at about 140 to 160 is your average. However, this home here on half an acre, all brick, sold for 200,000 at the beginning of this year. So that is your price range here. Now, I'm going to go over why people don't want to live here before we go into why they want to live here, because I already know some of you millennials who are Baytonians are going to come from my throat if I don't mention this first, because we all have kind of a bad taste in our mouth from living here. Me personally, I will tell you straight up, I don't have a bad taste in my mouth about this area. I used to walk to school all the time. I had friends who walked to school with me. My grandparents live next door to me. My cousin lives next door to me. So this is a really good memory for me when I used to live out here. But this was the ghetto for us. That's how we looked at it. This was the ghetto, even though nothing really bad happened during my time while we were out here. Now, the older generation will tell you that there was a lot of gang violence here, like back in the early 90s. No, not early 90s, because that was my time. Like in the 80s, there was a lot of gang violence out here. But that calmed down a lot. A lot of those guys are doing life now, and they're not coming back to this area. So you don't have to worry about that. Now, with it being the ghetto, we do have that stigma, right? We grew up here. Our parents didn't make that much money at that time. Once our parents made enough money, we were able to leave this side of Baytown and go into a newer side. So nobody really wants to come back here, at least millennials and people my age. Now, that's a mistake, and I'll tell you why. I wish I would have bought a house here, at least as an investment, before I bought in the Fifth Ward area, because this area is starting to come up. There's not enough space to build in Baytown anymore. Where else in Baytown can you find an affordable home under 200,000 that's livable? And it's only this area, and this is the last area that's left in Baytown where you can find that. So this is one of the reasons why people are starting to move here slowly. And it's really not a lot of Baytonians, a lot of out-of-towners, because they don't have the stigma of this either being the ghetto or it being dangerous like it was years ago. That no longer applies to this area. You do have a park about 10 minutes from here, another park 5 minutes down this way. You have one of the best Mexican seafood restaurants, El Sinaloense. You are walking distance to your elementary school. You are, 5 minutes to Fred Hartman Bridge, going to 146 into Pasadena. You are 10 minutes to 330 going into downtown. So this is really centrally located and still at a low price. And yes, we're starting off with Baytown's most sought after community, Goose Creek Landing. Your prices here are going to range from the low 300s to mid 400s. The schools that you are zoned to, you're looking at Dr. Antonio's Elementary, Highlands Junior High, and for your high school is the newest one here in Baytown, which is Goose Creek Memorial. Amenities in this community is the reason why everybody wants to move here. You have a 19-acre lake inside of your community, waterfront lots, which is one of the big reasons people love it here, along with walking trails, 3 parks, and a playground. That brings your tax rate to a total of 3.99, almost a flat 4%. And before we go to the next one, let me know in the comments down below if you would want me to do an actual community tour where I go out there, give you a tour of the homes there, along with the whole area, and kind of give you a better deep dive instead of just giving you the topical like in this video. Literally right down the street is our next community, Baytown Crossings. Now this is a subdivision if you haven't heard of it before, meaning that there is other communities within the whole community called subdivisions. And I'm talking about Asheville Cove, Wooster Trails, Sterling Point, and Burnt Fields. Those are all inside of Baytown Crossing, with it being a master plan community. Your home prices here start off in the low 200s to low 400s. When it comes to the schools you are zoned to, it's actually pretty cool in this community because you have an on-site elementary school, that being Pumphrey Elementary. For your junior high, you're still zoned to Highlands Junior High, and for your high school, it is Goose Creek Memorial. Amenities in this community are similar to Goose Creek Landing. You have your lakes with water fountains, your walking trails, your parks, but two other things that stand out in this community. You have a recreation center that is being built and also a community pool that is being built as we speak. Now, that brings your tax rate to a total of 3.7, which is actually a little surprising because this community has two extra things that Goose Creek Landing doesn't have, and that one's almost at 4%. About 8 minutes down the road is our next community, Hunters Creek. Here you are starting off in the high 200s, low 400s. Schools that you will be zoned to here are Stephen F. Elementary, Gentry Junior High, and Sterling High School. Amenities in this community, you're looking at a fenced-in dog park, a regular playground, and a splash pad for the kiddos whenever it is 120 degrees out here in Texas. With that being said, it brings your tax rate here in this community to a total of 3.7. Now we are literally moving to the other side of town because Baytown has two counties. We were in Harris, now we're going to be talking about Chambers County. We are in the Linwood community. Now this is a closeout community, meaning that they're already done with it, so there's only a few models left here, and they are starting in the low 300s all the way to 380s. The schools you'll be zoned to here are Clark Elementary, Gentry Junior High, and Sterling High School. Now this community for amenities has none at all, so you're literally just a community here, but you are a short drive to Baytown's Wetland Center, Baytown's Nurture Center, Pirates Bay, and other parks that Baytown does have to offer. With there being no amenities in this community, it brings down your tax rate to a total of 3.05, almost a flat 3. Moving on to the Southwind community, you are in the price range of $290 to $380. The schools that you are zoned to is Clark Elementary, Gentry Junior High, Sterling High School, and the amenities here in this community is you have a pool, you have a park, and walking trails. That brings your tax rate in this community to a 3.03. I think that's the lowest one we've seen so far for the communities that we've talked about. That's almost a flat 3. When it comes to marketing, this next community has it down. They knew exactly what their clientele base here in Baytown wanted, and that is the Barbers Hill School District. And they named their community Heights of Barbers Hill. Your price range here starts in the 312s all the way to 380. Guess where you're zoned to when it comes to the school is Barbers Hill ISD. So that's Barbers Hill Elementary, Junior High, High School. The amenities in this community is none. You should be sold with being zoned to Barbers Hill ISD, and that brings your tax rate to a 3.37 in this community. These next three communities all have the lowest tax rate here in Baytown, Texas, and they're all zoned to Barbers Hill ISD. We're starting off with Legends Bay, where your price range here is high 200s, high 300s, and you are zoned to, like I mentioned, to Barbers Hill ISD. Amenities wise, in this one, you only have a playground, and that brings your tax rate to, can we guess it here, little drum roll? 1.7, the lowest tax rate here in Baytown, Texas. Moving on to the community that is literally at Mont Belview's front door, River Farms. You are looking at a price range of high 200s to high 300s. You are zoned to Barbers Hill ISD, and your amenities in this community is none, sadly, but you do have a tax range of 1.7. Keep in mind, guys, being this close to Mont Belvieu, you do have access to Eagle Point, which is a short drive, and of course, everything that Baytown has to offer about 10 minutes away, and downtown, which is 25 minutes away from this community. So far, my favorite community has to be Baytown Crossings due to all the amenities that it offers, especially with that pool being built at the moment, that's going to be awesome. But I want to know down in the description below if you guys want me to do a deep dive into these communities, do a full community tour, including a model house that's in that community at the moment. Let me know down in the comments below. If you think you're ready to become a Baytonian, feel free to reach out to me. Again, I put all my information down in the description below. You can shoot me a text message, give me a call, or submit your information through my link tree. I'll make sure to reach out to you as soon as possible. I'm Giovanni Frank, your local Houston realtor with Lionsgate Realty. Until next time.